Okay, this is the last section of this little course on social media for real businesses. I mean, fundamentally, what we're talking about here is that you have to create some scenery for the play of your face-to-face networking. I mean, sometimes if you're selling products directly to consumers, as we do in some of our horticultural businesses, then all the activity is going to be online. But for most people in business-to-business world, it's a question of the real action is going to happen by you meeting people or making contact with them on the phone or face to face. And what the online section does is give you the ability to build some scenery for that. So the toolkit you have is made up fundamentally of some tools which enable you to create materials, and those are things like WordPress or your blog on Academy or a YouTube video. Then you have what I might call carrier media, which is fundamentally Twitter and the ways in which you plumb the creative parts of what you write into Twitter feeds so that it goes to Twitter and then it can be routed to either to Facebook or LinkedIn, which are really the two tools which people increasingly use. Fundamentally, searching within these will be through tags or hashtags, and you kind of can use the Google AdWords research processes that we talked about right at the beginning to establish what those tags are, your keywords if you like, and then you can use that to sort of build up the capacity of organic search of the activity that you do on LinkedIn and Facebook to drive people back to your site. It's interesting that some recent research suggests that probably 15 to 17% of all sales that occur business to consumer actually originate within Facebook these days, so it's quite important. Fundamentally, you've got source media, which I said, where you create the materials that are going to interest people, and those can be blog articles, they can be PDFs, they can be videos, they can be tools like SlideShare, which we talked about in the previous section, which enable you to basically put your ideas out and establish yourself as a thought leader. And then you've got a carrier media, which effectively is Twitter. Twitter is in a way is pure permission marketing. It's almost like a sort of, but also it's plumbing. It basically routes what you write in the areas that you talk about, that you create materials, and plumbs that information through to the places where people are going to interact with you. But it can be seen by the outside world on its way through, and that's why you want to work a little bit about developing a meaningful followership. One way of actually using the 140 characters is to treat it as, a headline, a comment, and a link. And because the rules of networking apply both online and face-to-face, you really want to engage in conversations. You don't effectively want to just be broadcasting all the time. You can probably allow yourself about 15% worth of self-promotion, and the rest of it you should be trying to have conversations with people. But you can actually use ideas using hashtags. #NFU11 was actually the NFU conference which I followed recently. It's important to me to know what's going on because I'm a guest blogger for them. And you can also see, you can use clout, and you can use people who are commenting sensibly on tags that you're interested in to see who's important in your field. In order to keep track of Twitter, you need a couple of tools, and I think that TweetDeck and Hootsuite are quite good. Here you can to help you sort it all out. Fundamentally, you've got what I've got here, one list which looks at what I'm saying, one looks at mentions about me, one looks at everybody I'm following, and then one looks at the Intelligent Garden list. That's the one that creates the daily newspaper, which I've got embedded in the site. Great thing about Hootsuite also is it lets you stack up tweets so that you can basically, if you like, automate the broadcast part of your activity there. Clout is a sort of quick and dirty way of keeping score. It's not terribly profound, but it does tell you if somebody you're following has got a big following. And so if you want to try and home in on the people who are influential in your space, it can be one way of keeping track of them. Facebook has many third-party applications, and it's very good for pictures and videos, but less good than for having sort of long conversations within it. It's actually quite important for business to consumer activities, and it's quite important probably to create a fan page for, here's my fan page for the Intelligent Garden. I've got about a couple of hundred friends on here now, and it basically promotes the comments and stories that we're telling on the Intelligent Garden website, which fundamentally is to do with selling people tools to help them become better gardeners. Plants of Presence has also got a Facebook page, and that's starting to really ramp up a bit now. Because these are where people check you out, where you have conversation with your friends. Even in a business sense, when I was doing some work with the aerospace supply chain, it's quite clear that ex-military people keep in touch with each other via Facebook, although corporate people tend to use the other main tool, which is LinkedIn. The great benefit of LinkedIn is it's kind of come of age now. You can actually have conversations with people in groups which are industry related. The IOD have got one, Chartered Institute of Marketing have got one, and you can basically join in discussions and demonstrate your expertise and try and see who's important in that space and try and get alongside them. It's easy now to get your blogs and your SlideShare collateral onto your profile, so that when people check you out, there's something worth seeing there, and you can use it to find prospects, get introductions, and understand who knows who. What's the structure of your industry? Because what we're trying to do with all of this stuff is to be connected and be seen as a thought leader. So just here's a quick example of the current version of my LinkedIn profile. I'm basically promoting myself as horticultural workforce champion at Cedar and managing partner at Free Spirits Limited. Fundamentally, it gives us a list of the what I've been doing. It gives you the ability to tell me which groups, tell the world which groups I'm in, and it effectively enables me to promote my blog here, which is the How to Do Business blog, and it enables me to take part in discussions. Here we are in the sort of Chartered Marketer group, which actually is quite a good place to make contacts. See, the key thing is that all of this stuff, all of this social media stuff, is the scenery. You have to work out who it is that you're trying to contact, who you're trying to influence. One school of thought says that you really need to work out who the 50 people in the world are that you really need to meet and how you're going to find them. How they're going to find you, how you can get introduced to them, how you can hang out or collide with them by going to the same conferences that they do. And that's the face-to-face part, and backing it up is the social media, which creates the scenery. You should basically join LinkedIn, you should use PR, you should build a collateral library, as we talked about, using the tools that we talked about last time. 7 things you should know about my particular topic. Here's a white paper which demonstrates thought leadership, that kind of thing. Build some social media profiles on the main spaces, LinkedIn, Facebook, Academy. Connect it all together so that when people check you out, they can find your stuff. And also take the advantage of creating a form for people to sign up so that they can download things so you can email them. I don't think you're going to get rich by basically trying to sell ebooks to people who've downloaded a freebie, but nevertheless, it does give you a means of actually communicating with them routinely. So fundamentally, that's the story. You have to understand how, although the web is very immediate and is very conversational, it's also quite verbal. You have to understand how to tag and how to build all of the sort of search engine optimization and how to be found. Then you have to create a body of information which is worth knowing about using the tools that we talked about last time. And finally, you have to get that information into the spaces where you interact with people, and you use these networking spaces like Academy, LinkedIn and Facebook to identify who it is that you should be talking to and find ways of making contact with them. That's it. Social media for real businesses. That wasn't so hard, was it? Thanks very much.